Right, if you're to believe Sport Bild, Arsenal apparently have reached personal term agreement level with Benjamin Sesko. That and a lot more to come on today's DR Sports Transfer News, hosted by myself, AGT. And because it's such an Arsenal heavy show, I've drafted in the big dogs, right? At least two of my favourite Arsenal fans, and in my opinion, the best presenter on AFTV. Ooh. James B.
Oh, stop it.
James B is back on DR Sports. It's been a long time.
Thank you very much.
It's been a really long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've missed DR Sports.
I love sharing the airwaves with you.
You what?
I love sharing the airwaves with you.
Me too. It's good fun. We're going to have a good chat about... Do you know what I've missed? Talking about football more generally as well. Right. A lot happening in the world of Arsenal. There's always plenty to talk about, we know.
Yeah.
But good to cover what's going on. So it's been a big day, Premier League fixtures and all. So looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Big up to my co-host today.
Thank you for the compliment.
Inside the building. I always give you a compliment on every stream that we start with anyway. So shout out to you.
Thanks, man.
Resplendent in the new gear.
Yeah, you know what? I like this stuff, man.
I think it's a great shirt.
I think that's one thing Arsenal do better than any other club in the Premiership. I mean, look at my boy Kwams there. Look at that. That's
let me
a new top.
introduce him first.
No, I'm just saying about the top. I want to get that one as well.
No, it is a beautiful top.
It's a nice top.
That's a beautiful man. It's Kwame on DR Sports. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, brother. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Yes, people.
I have to agree with Laurie. Arsenal do very good bits. I mean, almost too many to choose from.
Yeah.
But you wait till Liverpool and Adidas get rocking on August the 1st, then we'll be seeing who's got the best training.
Our performance on the pitch was as good as their sales in the club shop.
We'd have trophies upon trophies, man.
Trophies galore. But anyway,
shout out to Tino, says, love seeing new faces. Come on, lads.
Yes.
Big up to Tino in the chat.
Tino.
Big up James, says Sheremiah. A lot of love for everyone in the chat right now. Smash that like button, get your comments in if you're an Arsenal fan. How do you react to this report today? And do subscribe to DR Sports if you haven't already. Don't forget, we'll be back at 7:30 tonight for the first Real Madrid game that could involve Trent.
Woo! Yes, Trent.
And how do you feel about that?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward.
In a good or bad way.
I hear the left winger of the other team has trained really hard for this game and is ready to do his business. Could I tell you his name? No. But all the team.
Generational hate along.
But I will be there.
Man City
Raul will be there as well.
10 mil out the deal, put towards your next...
It's better than nothing, isn't it? Yeah. Would have preferred 100, but anyway, I'll
tell you what, let me know if Rodrigo gets on the pitch. That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, just watch the stream.
I could do that.
Could just do that, mate. That's all good.
Fair enough.
Right, let's dive into this one then, because as I said, Arsenal's elite here. We need to ask them what they think about this one, and it was Sport Bild who said today, Arsenal and Sesko have reached an agreement. Arsenal have also signalled to Leipzig that their offer will not fall below expectations. So they've been going back and forth. A lot of the times we see in the big transfers at the minute is that the agreements, the personal terms get agreed. Mm-hmm. That's almost the first tick, and then it's agreeing on the fee. You know, if Arsenal have said to them that, listen, we're not going to take the piss with the fee, let's all go around the table. What will that fee be? Let's go James first.
I think if Arsenal signed him, it would be 70 million.
Euros or pounds?
Pounds.
Okay, 70?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were talking about 68. Anything between 68 and 80 is the figures I'm hearing. I would go a little bit higher, maybe about... what did you say, sorry?
I think it'll cost 70 to get him.
Yeah, 70, 72.5.
Okay, just very precise.
Just to be different.
That is precise. I'm going higher, 80.
80?
Yeah, I reckon 80.5 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, for the potential. I hear that they're playing poker. It's poker right now at the table. So it's annoying as Arsenal fans because we just want the deal done. But I guess Andrea Berta and that. I know, but I haven't got time. I ain't got time. When I'm watching you lot lifting trophies after what happened last season, we haven't got time for this. Just get the business done. Even all the other teams, you look at Man United, what they've been doing early business. Why can't we be one of those teams doing that?
Well, listen, let's talk about the player himself, because Gyökeres has obviously been linked. He's maybe snubbed United. Potential deal still on the table there for someone to swoop in if they can meet the fee, the almost extortionate fee now that after the fallout between Gyökeres and the director of football, they could be charging a bigger fee than expected. But Sesko, right, we see the stats there on the screen. I think a lot of the reason to do with a 70 plus transfer would be because of the 4 years left on the contract. They've obviously tied him down to a big deal, as they should. But 21 goals in all comps, 6 assists. We'll start with you, James. We'll go around the table. If this one does go over the line, and it is Benjamin Sesko who becomes the main man, the number 9, the front runner at Arsenal, does that signing win you the Premier League? Because that's what you're doing it for, am I wrong?
So that's what we should be doing it for.
That's what you should be doing it for.
My answer to that is no. I don't think Sesko alone wins us the title. Could it? Maybe. I want to make it really clear. I think this is one of. I've done a lot of. I'll hold my hands up. Have I watched lots of 90 minutes of Benjamin Sesko? Am I really versed on the player? No. Have I done my research, spoken to people who do, done videos with the great Ben Mattinson, who scouts footballers in the Arsenal space, and Graham on Tactical Insight, watch comps, look to the data, whatever. I'm very convinced this is a very, very talented footballer. I think Benjamin Sesko is class and is going to get to the top, or at least near it. The talent, the attributes, the potential. The problem is we're all looking for that 9 that you say, right, add that to the team and boom, it's going to happen. But I think there's 2 problems with that. One, I think there are very few in the world, if any, and I think the one is Alexander Isak. Liverpool fans are probably feeling about that one. Isak is probably the only striker who's at a level where I think you can almost add him into this Arsenal team and we go up real gears. Yeah. The second thing is I don't think Arsenal's game model under Arteta has ever been about this one person is going to be the reason why this happens. So I think whoever we sign is going to be asked to do a selfless role, a pressing role, a facilitative role to get the best out of Saka, Martinelli, whatever left winger we sign. So I'm a big believer in Sesko could be a class addition and play a big part next season, but it's got to be supplemented with Zubimendi hitting his stride, maybe a little bit more in midfield, maybe a left winger, maybe something inventive tactically from Arteta. So I think he can help. I think he's a class act. But no, I don't think he's the guy that add him in and boom, everything's sorted. Great, we've got that striker.
What do you think, Laurie?
Yeah, I would largely agree with a lot of that. I mean, with reference to what James was saying, I did actually watch the video that yourself and Graham did. It's very good, by the way. So giving
always is.
Appreciate that. No, it's a very good video. You went into detail about his strengths and his attributes, the pace, the strength, the speed, his agility, how he links up play, his character. So all of those are plus points. All of those are assets that will definitely enhance Arsenal. I guess it comes down to, as an Arsenal fan, whether you're looking short-term or long-term, because I do agree with James. I don't think the signing of Sesko per se puts Arsenal in that category where we're going to be favourites to win the Premier League or the Champions League or anything like that. But what you do have is a young player that's very talented, that has a high ceiling and whose attributes and assets kind of fit the model with what they're looking for. Me personally, I would have gone Gyökeres, because I want to see Arsenal win things now, as opposed to 3, 4, 5 years' time, which I think is what they're looking at with Sesko. So yeah, in answer to your question, I don't think that the signing of Sesko per se will win Arsenal a title. I do, however, think he will enhance the team.
Okay. Quams, when you look at the options that were available, obviously pretty much every top European team's dream signing is Isak, which I don't think is going to happen. But Gyökeres and Sesko are the ones that have been mentioned for the longest. What is the difference between them both, goals-wise, that maybe separates them slightly in terms of that transfer budget or the fee that Sporting Lisbon would actually require? What's the biggest difference between them? And these lads are saying that it doesn't necessarily bring home the title. Would Gyökeres?
I think it's more. I know everyone's talking about the physical attributes of each player, which is fine, but I think it's more the mentality I'm looking at. And when I look at Benjamin Sesko, he's still young. When I look into his eyes, as I've seen him training and I've seen little clips and then I've watched him and then I look at the comparison to Gyökeres seems more hungrier. He kind of gives me that Luis Suarez kind of feel, like a South American, never say die attitude, Tevez. Right. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's not only to do with what they do on the pitch and whether they put the ball in the back of the net. It's more the mentality of that player. Can they handle the pressure? There's no question in terms of both of these players are quality, but we need a certain player with a certain mentality, and that's why we like Isaac, because he has that kind of je ne sais quoi, as they say.
Nice.
He has that confidence to go and lead the line at Newcastle. Does Benjamin Sesko give you that? Does a Kai Havertz give you that? No, they're kind of like part and parcel of a whole package. I feel like getting a Gyökeres in will kind of give that lift and the belief amongst the other players in the team to kind of take it that step to say, you know what, yeah, we can be Premier League winners, we can win titles. Look at Erling Haaland, how he carries himself. Ronaldo, I know I'm naming like prolific strikers, but we need that kind of ilk of a striker. That's something that we've been missing since Thierry Henry, since even Alexis Sanchez. So I think, the difference is, I know a lot of people will favour Sesko because he's younger and he's got a better ceiling, but I feel like we need a finished article or close to a finished article, and I feel like Gyökeres gives us that. So if we need to pay a certain amount of money for that, I would rather do that than kind of see us fall short next season.
Is this almost seen as a stopgap signing?
No, I think it's seen almost too much as a future signing and a project signing, and not just that, but I think they're signing for his quality now, what he can be. But I just want to say something on his personality, because I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I thought there's something interesting on Arsenal Vision where they were talking about the demands of Gyökeres to be the number 9. Does Sesko quite have that? The thing I'd say is I think personality can rear its head in quite a few different ways. And with Sesko, what stood out to me, he shows a lot of personality on the ball. I mean, if you look at the goals he scored, I mean, he lashes that ball from here, there and everywhere. The goal he scored against Bayern with Neuer off his line outside of the boot, and he just curled it into an empty net. Really audacious finish. This is someone who, for someone who wants goals, pops up around the pitch. I get you. Gyökeres feels more like a hungry brute of a forward. Basically, I will attack the box, I'll attack the ball.
Yeah.
But I think Sesko has a different kind of personality in his play.
Yeah.
And also I think sometimes decisions are admirable. Like a year ago, him going, "I've only been at Leipzig a year. I need another year." I don't think we should always look at that as a bad thing, just because he maybe wasn't ready to go. Yeah, I can be Arsenal's sort of first choice striker right this second, but a year on, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I also think Arteta's always wanted strikers with a more selfless approach. I think ultimately so much of what Arsenal do well under Arteta, and yet second again, ole ole, I get it. But I think the one thing we are the best in the league at still is defensively, our defensive structure, our press. We are so good structurally without the ball. And I think it takes one man, and we learnt this with Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola at their best, it takes one man not to do their job and all that falls apart. And I don't think Arteta, wanting to add the right pieces, is willing to take away from the things that have worked for Arsenal over the last 3 years. So, yeah, I hear you on Gyökeres, but I think personality can just show itself in so many different ways. I think Sesko maybe captures some of those other things. I didn't answer your question, AGT, which was what was it? I've completely forgotten.
Cheers,
it was is it a stopgap? No. I think it's just Arsenal seeing it as a better investment for the now and future. By the way, I'm not saying that's how the club should look at it, but that is how Arsenal do business, irritatingly at times.
Yeah.
Some of the goals he scores, though, I mean, I'm watching a Bundesliga video. It says the title is he the most athletic striker we've ever seen? He's got that, I hate to say it, he's got a great touch for a big fella. I know that's a bit of a stereotype these days, but the variety of goals he can cut in from the left, there's definitely a player there.
The way he strikes the ball is pretty exceptional.
Yeah.
And
that goal against Bayern, wow, what a finish outside the right foot.
Finish. And also, and I've said this on Forever Arsenal, and everyone turned the cameras off, which is quite funny. You mentioned the breakdown with Graham, and he pulled some data, Graham, from I think it was Canon Stats. Now, I know how nerdy this is going to sound, but it took the different XG chances, so basically lower chances of scoring and higher chances of scoring, so basically great chances and easy chances, and he was overperforming his XG on all of them. What that basically means is whether it's a shot from distance, in front of goal, whatever type of finish, he seems to do better with what he's than he should be with what he's given. So I know we can point to Gyökeres and the raw numbers, and I totally hear that his numbers are unbelievable in Portugal. I don't think you can just go, oh well, the Portuguese league, because his numbers are exceptional. But there is actually quite a lot of data beyond just 13 Bundesliga goals. It tells us that Sesko himself is capable of scoring a lot of goals and having maybe the kind of jump Isak had, because his numbers weren't exceptional before Newcastle.
Scored 10,
but
I think,
now,
before he went to Newcastle.
Would you be mad if Liverpool dropped 150 million on Isak? I wouldn't.
Well, I wouldn't now, but at the time of that, you'd say,
at the
he's
time,
only scored 10.
It's a big risk,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think one thing I would say though, and listen, with Gyökeres, I just think, touching on what James said, it's almost impossible to ignore that goals return, man. I know some people say, oh, it's a Portuguese league, but then even when you look at the goals he got in the Champions League last season, he got 6 goals there.
Look at how he done against Man City as well.
He tore apart.
He
Man
tore
City.
them apart.
The pen that game.
Yeah, missed the pen as well.
So people say, oh yeah, all the goals are in the Portuguese league, it's a weak league, or a lot of the goals are penalties. Listen, you simply cannot ignore those stats. And if you adapt that to what Arsenal are looking for. So for example, last season, everybody knows, we finished second. We drew 14 of our 38 games. I've had a closer look at those games. When you look at those 14 draws, in the vast majority of the games, Arsenal had the majority of the possession, created more chances than their opponents in those games, yet we still couldn't get it over the line. And the reason I would suggest is that we didn't have anyone that we could rely on to put the ball in the back of the net. You imagine giving Gyökeres those amount of chances up top for us, because he will get chances.
100%.
I say the likelihood he's going to finish them.
Yeah.
We've not had a 20-goal a season man at the club since Aubameyang.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, so
I do hear that.
Just to wrap that one up, I mean, the agreement has allegedly been made. We're not saying it has for sure. We're saying according to Sport Bill, because I know there's people in the comments saying Romano hasn't confirmed it yet, or he's denied that this has happened. We're reporting on a report, essentially. But if they have the personal terms agreed, the next step is obviously to meet the fee. So we'll keep an eye on this one and see how it develops.
And can I say that I think you can say with some degree of confidence, we tried to sign him last summer. We tried to bring it forward in January. We're now talking about it now. We clearly want the player. We clearly want the player because we think the player wants us. I think this whole personal terms thing doesn't ever really become a thing unless there's major competition between multiple. Take Florian Wirtz when City, Bayern, Liverpool. The minute we heard Florian Wirtz, has agreed terms with Liverpool and he wants to move, then, you go, wow, this is actually happening. Because, but I think with the Sesko one, it's a different kind of transfer. You can almost assume that's not going to be a problem. It's about negotiating with Leipzig and finding a deal that works there. So I'm pretty confident if it is between the clubs that needs to get sorted, and if that gets sorted, Sesko will be an Arsenal player.
Lee Slim says on the super chats, all I know is Sesko better come to Arsenal and bang straight away. I don't want to hear a man saying he needs time. Gyökeres doesn't need time. Buckle up. In terms of that fee, I mean, the same will be applied to Florian Wirtz as well, because I was with some Germans. It says Wirtz. That's how Wirtz. So the pressure's on him straight away, and he's not even a striker. So if you're spending 70, 80 mil, it's very similar to when Darwin Núñez was brought in, when Haaland was brought in. I mean, you obviously give him some time to settle in, but the line here, it needs to bang straight away. In many cases,
I would say the pressure would be more on Sesko.
No, that's what I'm saying, Sesko. That's what I'm saying. He does need to kind of.
No, you was talking about Wirtz or Wirtz or whatever his name is, but Liverpool have won the title, so I think you can give them grace, some slack.
Liverpool are entering a transition phase, if you don't mind me saying. You want Isak, you've changed your fullbacks. What an era of Trent and Robertson. They've moved on. You've now gone for a 10 profile, which you haven't had in the squad
since Coutinho.
And even then Coutinho had to move to a left 8 role or a front 3 role to accommodate for Klopp's tactics. So you're going through a transition. Slot came in, took what Klopp left and went bam, couple tweaks, elevated, wow, Salah generational campaign, won the title, amazing. Now there's I kind of think Liverpool can almost afford a bit of by the way, I don't think he will because you've got too many good players, but I don't think there's that same pressure, because I think Liverpool are like, we picked up the title. The expectation for a massive club will always be to keep competing and winning. But I don't think that a major pressure is going to be there. What do you think as a Liverpool fan?
It's a good question. I think the pressure next season will be more on to win the Champions League. if I'm honest with you, because of obviously we went out on we won every game apart from one up until we lost the game on penalties to the eventual champions. I know what you're saying in terms of you must now win the league again, but because no one's retained it in the Premier League, I think there is now pressure on you to go and retain this Premier League. Retain it. Huh?
City,
No, Liverpool.
Oh,
we've won 2 in 35 years, and we've not retained them.
Right.
So I think the pressure is, and that's why you're bringing in a Wirtz. That's why you're, looking to almost, as you say, bring in this new era. I'm calling it the ambition era. We're linked to Vizak. I wouldn't totally rule that out. By the way, 90% unlikely.
Yeah,
but in this new era where Liverpool are splashing the cash,
just spending money.
Can't rule it out.
When's the last time they've done that?
Exactly.
I must say, I do like Liverpool's approach because they're not standing still by any means. They're not resting on their laurels.
That's the key term.
They're going out there and they're getting it done. I mean, somebody used a term yesterday on the radio. They said, I think it's Steven Gerrard must have said in one of his the best time to fix the roof is when the sun is shining.
Yeah.
Fix
so
the roof when
they're
the sun
like, we're not going to wait
it's
and
good.
things dip. We're going to strengthen while we're strong.
It's like my mum always says, when the iron's hot, iron all your clothes.
Yeah, I mean,
quite like the roof
when
one.
your water's
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
but that concept, that kind of ethos is what you want.
Yeah.
But that's what set, obviously, Alex Ferguson and Man United so far, because they were always adding on to their title-winning teams. Do you know what I mean? They wasn't happy with just the Van Nistelrooy. They said, all right, we need to go out and get a Wayne Rooney. They didn't wait, and I feel like that's something that we as Arsenal, we kind of struggle to transition. Or
and it's
get the
refreshing
picture.
to see.
Oh, it must be
As
for
a
you
Liverpool
guys.
fan,
Yeah,
I've
for you
never
guys.
seen us with my own eyes act like this in the market, like one of the top 5 clubs in Europe.
Well, this is it.
We've always kind of, this will be all right to get us over the line. We'll scrape 4th. We won't invest too heavily.
Yeah.
And we've always been not happy with it, but we've accepted
accepted it.
But now it's like
It's different now.
Not only does it's like a big attitude and mentality.
It's a statement of intent.
Fans almost need to change our mentality.
Yeah.
now.
It's a statement of intent.
We've got
They're
this song,
saying
right, that says the Reds have got no money, but we'll still win the league. Can't sing that anymore. We've got loads of money and we want to win the league again.
Yeah.
The way I interpret
Fans'
that
mentality
is a
needs to
big
change.
statement of intent. Liverpool said, listen, man, you thought, okay,
that was a one-off.
We're looking to elevate even more now.
Yeah.
So you
catch
thought it
up.
was bad last time.
Hold
that.
The
You know what I mean?
the times
And
have
I like
changed. Yeah, times have changed. Just quickly, times have changed, and where you saw the era of Abramovich splashing the cash, then you've got Man City with their oil money. I know we kind of wanted to keep our tradition as Arsenal Football Club, or certain teams are saying, you know what, we can rebuild a team by using the academy players or by buying someone who's got a potential. But I feel like even Liverpool have realised, you know what, we can still be successful at certain moments, but can we dominate? We're going to have to invest in our team. We're going to have to spend big in order to reap the rewards. And I just feel like that was a statement, and that's something that I wish we do, or that we can do in the summer still.
Canadian Gooner says, go look at Sesko's last 80 shots. It's horrible. And he's a gooner. Lee Slims gets back in touch and said, Sesko scares nobody. This is why rivals hoped and prayed we got Sesko. All these man championing this project striker. See you all at the end of the season.
Look him in his eyes.
You know what? There is one thing. I was chatting to my guy Curtis today. Shout out to Curtis. I know he's probably watching this. And we was like, a pioneer was like, did anyone else come in for Sesko apart from Arsenal?
No, I don't think so.
Is that not
Liverpool
a-
and Man
is that
United have been
That's like going past a restaurant that's empty and going, well, no one else is eating in there, so I ain't eating in there.
No, but do you
Do you know
think
what I
that...
mean? If it's Ramo, you're like, get me
No,
in.
Yeah.
But it's hard
Queue
enough
up.
for Gyökeres.
Not that good.
Do we,
Yeah.
No, the reason why I raised that is, are we to take anything from that?
But no, is other teams looking
But you
for a
have been
striker?
linked for a while with him, so it's almost like people are aware of that and they go, he's probably going to go to Arsenal. But
No, but okay,
one's
so
tested the waters, though,
you losing Wirtz as an example, looking at the amount of teams that were allegedly
Bayern,
interested
City,
in
Madrid,
with
Liverpool.
Sesko. I mean, okay, you mentioned Gyökeres, but we know United were keen on that.
But they got
So
Højlund.
were
Still are.
Bayern Munich. So who else
Harry
was
Kane.
interested
They've
in
got
Gyökeres?
strikers. That's where the
But
only
Liverpool,
team.
Bayern were all linked to Sesko, loosely, but about as loosely as they were with Gyökeres, I think. I think.
Just a thought.
No, it's a fair
it's a fair
thought.
point.
I mean, just on that super chat, I was saying, Sesko doesn't scare anybody, but we really need to grow out of this in football. I kind of get the general point of, is it a world is a Welby to come in, it's going to change everything, and that's what we want and understand. I don't remember everyone thinking, oh, Arne Slot's coming in and we should, everyone always thought, well, how are they going to recover from Jurgen Klopp? That's all everyone talked about. And look at the job he did, and sometimes it can be fresh ideas, something different, and people can surprise you. So, look, I would much rather judge the player when I've seen them playing for Arsenal. I'm not saying people can't have opinions on the transfer. That's completely and utterly fair. We all do it. That's why we have this show. That's why I do videos as well. I totally get. But the idea that a youngster with this talent we should sort of be laughing off, I don't know.
There's definitely been a lot of disrespect towards both players.
I completely agree with that.
But I think it is also to do with the stigma around just Arsenal players in general. I think that there's always a disrespect. When any player is linked with Arsenal, they're never good enough for the Premier League. They're never good for their own team. It's kind of rubbished away. But if they were to ever get any of those players, they would be hailed as, oh my gosh, look at what the signing potentially we could get. So yeah, I always take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah. Well, listen, let us know on Benjamin Sesko. Sport Build, like I said, are saying that Arsenal have agreed the personal terms, at least with the player. Now it's down to the fee. So let us know, Arsenal fans in the chat, how do you feel about this one? What will the final fee be? Just before we move on to speaking about Son, Mitoma and Sancho and a few other bits, there is some breaking news from David Ornstein, and it isn't that. Right, but we can start with that. Let's start with that one. This is a positive one. Miles Lewis-Skelly, according to David Ornstein, close to signing a new contract at Arsenal. Fresh long-term deal to make the 18-year-old England international among the world's best-paid young players. Mikel Arteta vital to the renewal, as he would be as the manager, negotiated by the mother, Marcia Lewis, who I believe has had some contact with AFTV. We've done.
Yeah, Robbie's met her a few times.
Love that.
Yes.
So yeah, big up. MLS looking to.
There's no truth to the rumour that Robbie helped sign that deal, but
no, little 5% on top. But no, listen. Breaking news. How do you react to that, boys?
I'll keep it short and sweet. I think he's one of the most exciting young players in world football, and he deserves it. So good on him. Like the personality he's shown at the Bernabeu, and just actually since he's come into the Arsenal team, I'm proud.
Fear, is it?
No, I'm so proud of it.
Yeah.
He's had an amazing. When you consider as well that when he came into the team, he wasn't even playing in his so-called natural position. He's a midfielder by trade normally. Not only has he come into left back and made that position his own, he's displaced. When I say displaced, he relegated the likes of Calafiori and other guys to second choice. That's an amazing achievement. Plays for England, scores on his debut. He's had a dream season. Okay, there were one or two things that didn't go his way.
Red cards.
With the red cards and stuff, he'll learn from that. But like James says, tremendous talent, and that's great news.
Agreed.
Yeah. From as a defender's point of view, I think he's terrific. I think it's more, again, it's the mentality that he has for such a young player is what strikes me. Fearless. You can tell that he's hungry. Everyone was making so much noise more about Ethan Nwaneri, and he kind of went under the radar. But I'm kind of glad that's happened. And some pivotal games he's played in, like James mentioned about Real Madrid, even the North London derby, he's fantastic, and he's only going to get better. And I think it's great to hear that Arsenal as a club are moving quickly with this and saying, you know what, he's someone we can see going into the future, and he can lead even through midfield, which you're right. Yeah, it's a fantastic player. So yeah, well
when
done.
was the last time? Let's try and put heads together on this one. When was the last time an academy graduate at 17? I'll use the word displaced a new signing in that position who's obviously got more international experience and is older than Lewis Skelly. I'm trying to think. It's a long time. If you're saying Fabregas, that's 20 years though, isn't it?
I think Fabregas is probably the only one I can remember that's...
Did Saka do that?
I think Saka was impressive because Pepe was a £72 million signing.
Yeah, Saka as well. Yeah, Saka. All right, yeah. Saka
placed him eventually, didn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, for me, it's more Fabregas in the sense. This reminds me of who's this kid. Why is he so good? Why is he, years ahead of everyone else? The fact that he's put in Calafiori on the bench, I know he's been injured, etc. But Kieran Tierney, a seasoned left back, you would rather favour that. But then when you see him, as soon as he gets on the ball and he strides forward past one man, two man, brushes off players as if they're not even there. But then he's able to play in the final third. He's still able to play those quality balls forward.
That's where his midfielder prowess comes.
100%.
Yeah,
He's able to
for sure.
play like
100%.
Important deal. This Real Madrid were looking.
Yeah. They were sniffing around.
Yeah, and they'll hang around.
This is what we need to do.
We've seen with Trent, they will hang around.
Yeah.
But
Same with Saliba as well.
They're like that weird creep in the corner of the club who's just like having a little look. Oh, look, I'm hearing reports that she's just walked to the bar, so we can go and get her.
Just go to the toilet.
Just leave us alone, bro. Worry about your own shit.
I saw a report which was that they're only going to spend big on young talents and otherwise just wait for contracts to expire, which makes me think
It's a horrible bullying.
that's almost like 2-3 years of talking to a player. Just
Yeah.
don't sign the contract.
Yeah.
That's what they've done.
Don't
with
sign
Trent.
it.
Oh, we'll sign you, but if you dare think about signing for Liverpool, we ain't going to sign you. Okay, I won't sign then. That was 18.
They do
months,
do
2
that,
years
but
ago.
we also have to
How
admit
can
that
you
our
turn
clubs
down?
do a similar thing. I mean, you guys have snatched Kirkers, haven't you, from Bournemouth? He's had a
Yeah,
great
we paid
season.
though. Paid for
Yeah, I know,
45
but you know what I'm saying. But you're big boy, a minute. You've basically
Well,
come along.
Madrid are the only
You
team
said
that
to
can
you
little
said to
bro us.
Kirkers, yeah, come on,
Yeah,
Bill.
this is Real Madrid. Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, Bill.
How many players
So
could
you've done
turn down?
you've done a very
Still
similar
relative
thing.
though, isn't it?
It is, but you know what I'm getting at. This is football.
Yeah, it's a
Football
business.
eats
So
itself like that.
the other bit of breaking news
Oh, yeah, sorry.
that I was going to come in to was not as positive, and it reads this. According to the Telegraph, Chelsea winger Mikhailo Mudryk has been charged by the FA over doping. He could face up to a 4-year ban after testing positive for the performance-enhancing substance meldonium. And that's according to the Telegraph. We have also got the tweet there from Fabrizio. We can confirm that Mikhailo Mudryk has been charged with anti-doping rule violations, alleging the presence and or use of a prohibited substance in terms of regulations 3 and 4 of the FA's anti-doping regulations. As this is an ongoing case, we're in no position to comment any further at this time, but he could face up to a 4-year ban. How do we in the studio react to that?
Well, meldonium has surfaced quite a lot in boxing, and it was something that quite a few Eastern European fighters fell foul of. I've also seen it in tennis. 4 years is a lot. I mean, how much did Pogba get?
I think his was 2.
His was a long one. I know he
He was
appealed
out
it
for a
and
while.
it got shortened.
He was out for a while.
Yeah, he got a 4-year ban.
You know what? I'm going to say
18
this,
months.
and I'm saying this of someone who's obviously a passionate boxing fan, and boxing's had huge problems with PEDs. And I welcome 4-year bans, man. If you listen, you take substances that are on the ban list, you are cheating. I mean, I know it's a bit different in boxing because the object is different. You're looking to hurt people, but even so, you're still cheating, and you can't countenance cheats in professional football. So I don't know the circumstances. No doubt Mudryk is going to, try and prove some mitigation. Some of the Eastern European athletes are saying they weren't aware that this is some of the boxers anyway saying that they weren't aware that because meldonium was previously allowed,
right?
And then they banned it, and then when certain Eastern European fighters started getting caught, they said, "Oh, I wasn't aware of the ban." But ignorance is no excuse in the eyes of the law. If you're found to have cheated, then I don't know what you guys think, but for me, 4 years is eminently fair to me.
4 years.
This is an area of sport I don't really know too much about, other than obviously if there's banned substances, don't take them and you should be punished accordingly. I'm reading the Telegraph Football's report. Mudryk could be banned for up to 4 years. So let's see what happens. From his perspective, I don't know. Is he claiming that he didn't know or anything like that? I don't know. Or how do these things get into your body? I mean, there was the Yannick Sinner case in tennis very recently where he was a player who they found such an unbelievably small fraction of something in him. He claimed he absolutely didn't know. He tried to explain where it came from. And then you're caught in this, well, we know what the rules are, we know what we shouldn't. And then you're also, things can happen, or can they not? I don't know. I don't know how these people look after themselves. There's lots of sports people who've come out, spoken about that kind of stuff, and said, no, it's your job to know what goes in and out your body and all that.
So boxers after fights rejecting bottles of water that certain people give to them, or
you have
to be careful immediately after the game. That's when you're going to get tested or the match. So you need to make sure.
And we also need to be careful as well. When some of these, and again, this happens in boxing, so I speak from my experiences in boxing. They will say, "Oh, it was only a billionth of a gram, or only X amount." That's because a lot of them, and I'm not saying this is in Mudryk's case, well, we don't know what his mitigation is going to be. But the reason why the amounts are so small is because these guys have been cycling off when they got caught.
Yeah.
So in other words, they take the drug.
Yeah.
They've been advised on how to cycle off, but they got it wrong, or maybe the testing was one step ahead of them. They get caught. They said, yeah, but it was only X amount of 1 gram. You know, it's minimal.
Changing the
I don't know how
parameters
it got
of
in
it.
my system. But no, you are
Didn't
responsible
Colo
for
Touré
what
have
goes in
something
your system.
similar? He had one of his wife's sleeping pills or something like that. Do you remember that? Or slimming tablets, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah.
That
I
sounds
remember.
familiar.
I heard
Was it
something.
Toure?
I think it was Touré.
Yeah, I think you are right about that.
It might have been Yaya, actually.
Is it Yaya? I just think it just seems to be a common thing with Chelsea. No, because you remember Adrian Mutu.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
me too.
that was cocaine.
Yeah, I know it's cocaine, but it's just like
That wasn't like
Bosnich.
trying to enhance
You know what I mean? Like,
that's
it's-
just you had a mad one on Saturday and you can't play Sunday, bro.
But I
Yeah,
think,
that was slightly different.
yeah,
But,
just obviously piggybacking off of everyone else. Like it's wrong. Number one, we don't condone that. That's something that is you shouldn't be seen in professional sports, let alone football. But
Yeah.
they live in a completely different world. Like I've got a good friend who works at England, and so he'll tell me about how these players are being taken care of in the sense of the meals are structured, the vitamins that they take, the training that they do, the supplements, everything is measured.
So there's no room
There's
for
no
any
room.
outside
So-
forces to slip something.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like I have to then look at the player and say, well, what are you doing behind closed doors?
And also, what people have you got around you?
Right. So this
Are
is
you in
where
the right
you've got to look at
circles
it.
off the pitch.
There you go.
Are you married? Are you settled? Are you not? Are
Right.
You out you outside every night?
He's been struggling because he hasn't been getting into the Chelsea first team. So he's trying to gain an edge, gain an advantage, and that's sadly maybe what Pogba was thinking. Potentially and allegedly.
Well, it didn't work.
Allegedly, it hasn't worked. So yeah, we don't know for sure. But if that is the case, then
Yeah.
yeah, it's disappointing.
I would say that I want to believe in second chances, and he serves his ban, and hopefully he can come back to football in some way.
yeah, just
So-
like Pogba is.
So
Yeah,
it was
yeah, exactly.
Colo
Yeah.
Touré. He was 30 at the time
Oh, he was.
and got a 6-month ban for using his wife's diet tablets.
You know, like really.
Slimming tablets, allegedly. Anyway, let's move on to some more transfer stuff. By the way, Tottenham have just checked in their new manager, Thomas Frank. We've just seen the first picture of him in a Spurs top there. Also, Fabrizio Romano, literally 4 seconds ago, Sesko's agent Elvis Basanovic answers on Arsenal. We have a clear plan. We will never force or blackmail Leipzig. We do things in the right way or we don't do them. Sesko will only leave for a special club and project. There you go. So, Son, speaking of Tottenham, Saudi
His
Arabian
work rate's
clubs.
unbelievable, Romano.
Al Ali.
1 minute ago, he tweeted about Thomas Frank, and then 42 seconds about Sesko. I
He
mean,
must have
Romano
people.
Oh, he's
he
got
must have
people.
people.
He must have
yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
Of course he does.
Incredible.
What I would say about him is that his Rolodex must be the size of this room, because the amount of contacts he must have.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's crazy. And
Yeah,
the
shout
amount
out
of
to
money that gets exchanged for information and stuff like that. But Saudi Arabian clubs Al Ali, Al Nasser and Al Qadsiya have expressed interest in Tottenham Hotspur and South Korea forwards Son Heung-min, 32-year-old, with the trio each prepared to pay 34 million at least in pounds for him, according to TalkSport. 7 goals, 10 assists last season. Contract expires in a year. Tottenham almost have to sell this summer, don't they?
Yeah, it would-
34 million, do it, man.
Yeah.
And he should go on the high.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
lifted the trophy.
Just like with Ange.
You know,
Yeah,
thanks
just
for
go.
everything, off you go.
Yeah.
Did I read somewhere that this might complicate their summer tour plans?
Yeah, I heard that.
somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah, what
because
they're
South
saying
Korea.
is that they want to structure any deal that he completes the tour of Southeast Asia, because obviously he's massive in that part.
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
world.
yeah.
So
Brings
obviously
in a
they,
lot of money for them.
recoup the financial benefits.
They're
of that,
playing
and
Arsenal,
do the
aren't
deal
they?
after
in
that.
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And then, they're
Yeah,
going
so it's
to
quite a
Asia.
cynical thing. Although I understand it, you get him to do the tour and then you do all the transfer business after that, because you know
Yeah, they are
when
going
they
to
rock up in that part of the world, they're expecting to see
Arsenal
Son.
in Hong Kong. Then they go to South Korea to compete in the Kupang Play Series against Newcastle.
Yeah.
Then they go to Germany to play Munich, which will be Harry Kane against Spurs for the Telecom Cup. And then they're going to Luton.
Fair enough.
So all over the world.
Yeah.
The luxurious
exotic
destination.
places.
Yeah, exactly.
And Luton.
So, yeah.
None more exotic
Yeah,
than Luton.
trust me. So 34 million for a player at 32 years old.
Do
To
it,
take the
Connor.
money.
Take it.
Take the money.
Take
but
it.
obviously, try and leave it as late as possible so he can go on.
I'd-
the tour.
Great
I would
money.
be staggered if he's still a
Yeah, no,
Tottenham player.
he must.
He's
he
done
must
his thing. If he hadn't have
10
won the
years?
trophy, yeah, he's done about 10 years or so. If he hadn't have won
What
it, then
player?
But he has been a great player to watch, even though he's from a rival team.
Yeah.
He's been a great professional as well. You know.
You know when you talk about players who scare you, Sadio Mane was one of them. I know Salah was, but in a different way. But Mane,
Firmino should have been
Son,
on for you.
No, he should have
Or Tele goals.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, this
Hell,
was, the whole
they all
Liverpool team did. No, there's something quite
I know what you mean. though.
inevitable about certain players. Mane felt like it for me.
Drogba. for
Son
Chelsea.
did, Drogba
Didier
did.
Drogba, yeah.
I don't know why.
Henry for us.
I'm not saying these are the best players I've ever seen against Arsenal. There was just something about them. Every time we faced them, they terrified me. Whether it was
Hazard
the way they,
for Liverpool, against Liverpool. As
Yeah.
well, and Chelsea.
Yeah.
and I think this is such a good deal for Tottenham.
Demba
It's a good deal for all parties. They can
Yeah.
get 34 million for a player who didn't start the final, did he?
No.
Like, and I don't think that was injury related. I think that was just he's
I
not
think
playing
he was coming
well.
back, so they tried to.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
again, they could have easily in a final said, "No, you are starting." Like Harry Kane, Champions League final, wasn't
He's
ready
just
to
not
start,
as
but
good
they
as he
started.
was, and
I was
that's
literally about
fine.
to say that.
He's absolutely entitled to that.
Age
What a
is
player is best.
undefeated.
Both footed, by the way. I actually think his best, most recent spell was when he was starting up front for them at the start of the Postecoglou era. Yeah, I mean, hate him because he's Tottenham, but love the player.
Yeah.
And I think what a move for all involved. 34 million.
Yeah.
I like 34 million for Trossard. He's sort of in and out our team. Like, what?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure as well. Thomas Frank is looking at it because he wants to rebuild their squad as well. And
Yeah.
sometimes you have to kind of get out the old and bring in the new. So that's why they were tied with Mbemo, etc. So I'm pretty sure he will welcome the deal. It's just whether it works financially for the team.
And do you know what? You could probably get 50 mil from Everton for Richarlison for him to go back there as well. So
50? You
well,
Would they pay 50 mil?
okay, 30.
Yeah, 30 to 40.
Yeah,
I think they would,
yeah.
And by the way, over 2,000 of you watching right now.
Fantastic people.
And there's only 218 likes.
Oh, come on.
Smash the like
Oh,
button.
Good
yeah,
enough, that.
man.
It's not good enough.
If it was girls or whatever, you'd be like,
Smash that like button.
Simps.
Like Sesko strikes a ball. How about that?
Okay. All right, yeah, we'll go with that. I've just seen some of his highlights. So please do smash the like button. It helps more than you can believe. Bayern Munich will target Brighton and Japan winger Karu Mitoma, the 28-year-old, if they miss out on Nico Williams. We heard yesterday, I reported yesterday that it's very likely now that Nico Williams goes to Barcelona. 28, I didn't realise he was so old.
I thought he was younger.
Mitoma.
But what a
Because
player.
remember, 2 years ago, or was it
2 years
last
ago,
year?
He was 26.
No. Very good. But 2 years ago, I was hearing about 100 million. Who was it that bid 100 mil? The Saudis.
I think even last year
Yeah,
there
was it
was
last year?
100
He's-
million that came in.
10 goals, 4 assists in the season. Contract expires in 2 years.
Goal of the season?
Around about
He's-
40 mil, yeah.
He's a player
touch.
that kind of, again, Michael Elise, I mean, look at what he's done, how he's transformed. He was a talent at Crystal Palace, but seeing him now at Bayern and then featuring in the French team, the levels that he's elevated is crazy. And I feel like Mitoma is one of those players that if a bigger team came in to get him, no disrespect to Brighton, you will see an even more polished version of him. He's a nightmare. He's an absolute nightmare to play
he's
against, I
got it,
feel.
bro.
Yeah.
He's got
He's
it.
dribbling,
He
everything.
studied dribbling at
Yeah.
uni.
Done a dissertation on it.
Could that be who Tottenham go for? They're losing left winger, they go for a left winger, why not?
I
I think
thought
the age might put them off a little bit.
Well,
When
because
you've
they
got
will
like
demand
a-
80 million when
yeah.
they Brighton. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Class
But let us
player.
know in the chat. Bayern Munich fans, obviously they've targeted a lot of wingers, and we're going to be speaking about another one that they'd
Yeah.
like to have in a sec. But £40 million, it's probably about right,
yeah.
fee-wise.
Fee-wise, yeah. I think 35 to 40. But like I said, I feel like if he went to Liverpool, that's the type of Liverpool player
Right.
that Liverpool would get. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, just
At
like Al
23
McAllister.
though, I'd say.
At 23, yeah.
You get
But
him.
I still think that'll be a good move for him. But yeah, 35 to 40, I reckon.
Yeah, Bayern are still looking in the market actively for a left winger. They have been rumoured to be interested in Cody Gakpo from Liverpool.
Yeah, I saw that.
10 league goals, I think it was 17 goals across the season, 35 games, 5 assists,
How do you feel about
26.
that?
No, there's no way he's leaving.
I was going to say.
Not even like that. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
Like, that is not going to happen. I'm telling you now. Even if they throw down 70, which the fee here is, he's got 3 years left on his deal. He's had an incredible
What a
season
player
for
he is,
Liverpool last
though.
year, by the
Yeah.
way. 17 goals in
Yeah.
Fantastic.
35
And I remember
games.
when he first rocked up at Liverpool, a lot of the Liverpool fans,
Nah, he's-
But Klopp was playing him like a 10.
Yeah.
That guy, because imagine having someone so silky as him and quick, but also 6'4". It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You'd think anyone would be able to stick it. Like, when he gets his head down, you know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
You know what he's going to do, but you can't stop it. The amount of goals this season where he cuts in, or wraps it to the far post,
Can't
or gives
stop
the
it.
keeper the eyes and wraps it in the near post. Like,
Why can't he
he's so
be your
clinical.
leading 9?
He's had a few tests up top, as has Luis Diaz as well, as has Sadio Mane, as has Mo Salah. They all kind of interchange, but I think it's just more useful for us to have him and Diaz as options on the left. You know, if you're playing against Liverpool 75 minutes, you've been dealing with Luis Diaz, you think, Christ, thank God he's going off. And then you see Cody Gakpo coming on. It's scary time.
It is.
It's scary.
It's like Ryan.
as well,
He
man.
reminds me of Ryan Babel.
But he's taller than him.
And he's taller than him. Yeah, he's got a lot more.
I
He's got a
honestly,
lot more.
last season, I think Liverpool fans absolutely loved his output more than anything. He was scoring really important goals in cups and maybe tailed off a little bit towards the end of the season.
He had
but
an
I'm
injury,
such a
isn't
big
it?
fan. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
out
that
for a
kind
little
of
bit.
what started
him a
it.
little bit.
Yeah.
But and listen, if it was something that is quite realistic, we'd speak about it more. But that's not going to happen. Liverpool are not selling Cody Gakpo.
Yeah,
said
I
about
can't
Trent.
see that.
There's
You said
no
about
way.
you lot said about Trent as
But
well.
he's got 3 years left on his deal, so there's no way. Another winger, Sancho to Napoli. He will need to take a big pay cut, obviously, to complete this move. The Italian champions will formally approach United if they believe a move is realistic, once they are now in touch with representatives over personal terms. But they can't pay what he's on at United. They would require him to reduce his salary. United would prefer to sell him permanently than loan him out. Again, they wouldn't have to pay half his wages if they did that. And it is their thought that the value is around 25 mil, 3 goals, 5 assists last year. Still only 25. It feels like we've heard of this name for 10 years now.
I know.
For 25
he
mil.
needs to make that move happen,
I
because
think
going
it'll be a
back to
good
United,
move.
it's not going to work. He's
No.
already fallen out with the manager there. It's a busted flush at United. So Napoli, a good team.
With
It's
Conte
in a
and
good
that.
league.
Oh, amazing. McTominay,
So,
Lukaku,
yeah,
Kevin De Bruyne.
maybe.
Come on, man.
So I would hope
Yeah.
that him being a professional would say, look, if I've got to take a drop in wages, then fine. It's his career.
But he's on big wages.
I mean, how much is the drop? Do we know?
Well, his current... let me look it up because I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it's over 300.
I have a feeling he was around the 250, 300 mark.
300.
and how much would he have to take?
I
If
mean,
he's going to Italy,
Probably half.
you'd have to half it.
You have to half it.
You'd have to half
I
it.
mean, even
I don't know how you
'Cause of
survive
weights.
on 150 grand a week.
It's
It's actually 75 grand. 'cause
Yeah.
of taxes.
I mean, how do you survive?
yeah, I don't know. Laura.
Imagine
Yeah.
only taking home
But
150
you
grand.
make a good point, right? He's going to have to take a
I
pay
mean-
cut. But what's worth more to him is it getting his career back on track, trying to get into the World Cup squad.
Yep,
Or
just about to say
is
as well.
it dig your feet in? It's their fault they gave you such a big contract. Sit around, rot it out, and take the money.
I'd like to think he'll do the former.
I'd hope.
I
he
hope,
would do the
because I
former.
think it might reflect badly on him if he goes. Because we all know it's over for him at United. I think people will look at that as a bit of a.
I do think this is something we don't talk about enough with players a little bit. I think 15 years ago it was quite popular to talk about, oh, they just do this for the money. Then the conversation, I think, flipped to, well, why shouldn't they do it for the money, man? They've got their families to think about, their lives. Football maybe doesn't mean to them what it means to us. And people's perception changed massively, and rightly so. But I almost think it's maybe gone too far that way. And what I mean is, first and foremost, if it were me, I'd say, shut up, everyone. I'm going to do what I want, but I've got my reasons or whatever. I totally acknowledge that. But I also think, if you take, for example, Nico Williams and this move he's supposedly pricing himself out of, and we kind of all just go, oh, well, the wages. It's like, no, but do you want Barcelona? Do you want Bayern Munich? Do you want Arsenal? Like, because if they can't quite match that, what are you willing to do to get to those clubs? They're not paying you badly. They just maybe aren't willing to get to what Bilbao are. But and he might just go, well, I'm happy at Bilbao, and I've got family, and I'm settled, and the money does this for me, and that is totally fine. But I do think we almost kind of skim past like Sancho. It's not worked for him at United. He went to Chelsea, even won things, even came on in the final and scored, and they even paid $5 million to send him back. So why not just go, I'm still going to make really good money, but let me go somewhere else to a beautiful country and see if I can make it work there.
Is that an ego thing? Is that the wrong people around you? Is that you're too almost used to the current wage you're on? You don't want to drop?
Or you know, you're worth what something's willing to pay for you. Man United offered that and are paying it, so he's got every right to
chased
go
him for 3 summers, didn't they?
right, and he's got every right to go, this is what you agreed. We sat there and agreed. He's also got every right, as every footballer does, to go, you can choose you want to sell me at any moment, you can choose you want to drop me at any moment. Like it's a really hard relationship to always keep right between player and club. So I totally respect everyone in every position with this. But I just think we should challenge footballers a little bit more on. But how much do you want that for your career? How much do you want? How much do you want to get back to playing your best football?
Footballing reasons.
Yeah.
Sometimes, just to ask that question a little bit is all.
There's no smoke without fire, and the fact that he went from United and Amorim was complaining about how he trained, how he played, his attitude, and then he's gone to Chelsea. He's done better at Chelsea, as James said. He's won something, but they're willing to pay to send him back.
It's not great.
That should speak volumes to you. Yeah. And as much as I admire him as a player, I think he's fantastic. There must be something behind closed doors that he's doing that is just not agreeing with the management in that sense. So, but I think going to Napoli, if I was a player and I'm looking at Scott McTominay, I'm looking at these once English players that were playing in England now going abroad and being successful. Look at McTominay. He's just won MVP.
And they love him.
They got shrines, everything for
Smoking cigarettes on yachts, dancing with ladies.
Right, but he's earned it. He's earned it, and the same with Lukaku. And I think that maybe Sancho needs a really strong figure like a Conte to kind of put him in check and kind of harness that talent, but give him that discipline. So yeah, I reckon he should do it.
Just a quick update in the Club World Cup for you, by the way. Manchester City are playing Wydad Casablanca. They're currently 2-0 up in the end of the first half. Philip Foden after 2 minutes and Jeremy Doku after 42 minutes.
I've just been keeping an eye on this. Do you know the most extraordinary thing about this? It's actually blown me away, right? They're 11. I'll fly through it. Edison in goal. Lewis, Reece, Ake and O'Reilly, their back four. Reinders, Foden and Shirky midfield. Savio, Marmoush and Doku, right? That's their team. We all agree, bloody good team, yeah?
Yeah.
Their bench.
It's strong.
I've got it in front of me now.
Diaz, Stones, Haaland, Nico, Rodri, Ortega, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Ait Nouri, Gvardiol, Akanji, Nunes, Echeverri, Kuzanov, Bob. What?
Depth.
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
I've never seen depth like this in my life.
That's another team, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
it's a whole other club.
Yeah,
it's a whole
other club.
Not only that, I think Man City,
unbelievable.
They're a wounded animal this season. Me and Quams were saying when I did a previous show.
Yeah.
On LL Sports about
they're coming back with vengeance, mate.
They will be. They will be coming.
Yeah, you can see it in his eyes. You can see it in Pep's eyes.
And I think they want to start with this Club World Cup to say, okay, we didn't win anything domestically, won a Club World Cup, and we're coming for all.
I know we're
not taking no prisoners this coming season.
I know a lot of people are saying that, you know, the Club World Cup is going to tire or fatigue out these players, but I really think it might help in terms of their sharpness, in terms of how focused they are for the season ahead. I think that this will give them, Man City, the kickstart that they need. So I'm very wary of them because it seems like they've got all the ingredients now.
Coming back.
Yeah.
Forgive me for digressing. Just a quick straw poll. Are you? Me personally, I'm a little bit jealous of that Arsenal not in the Club World Cup. Do you guys feel the same?
No, I'm happy we're not in it.
Really?
Yeah,
I'd prefer the rest.
I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them in this. I'd like to see them in this competition.
We'll be in the next one though because
we haven't won anything in so long. So I'd like to be in with a chance of winning something else. And also, you actually have to have done something to be there. But I've not watched a single minute of it. And by the way, I don't actually hate the concept.
To be able to call yourself the Club World Champions for 4 years, I think that's a significant achievement. I'm all for it. I know. The old argument
is it every 4 years?
It will be. It's a revamped concept. So starting this one here.
So there'll be no other Club World Cup jetting off for 2 games in December,
No, that's now called the Intercontinental Cup.
Oh,
so that still is happening,
My
and that's
goodness.
the same format that existed, but they've almost grabbed the name of that one and dumped it on this new one.
So this
Super
new
chat
format
here
will not be recontested until 4 years later.
Yeah,
so for
true.
4 years, you can call yourself the Club World Champions.
And Auckland City will do that, in my opinion, this year. Tushar says, looking at Arsenal and the recruitment, I feel Arsenal every year recruit well and build good teams and want to win by default as they would have the best squad, but it does not work like that, says Tushar. Away NTV, would you take Garnacho if no Williams or Rodrigo?
No.
If I was Arsenal fan, I'd say no as well.
No.
Why is that though? Is that just because he's from Man United, or because he is a good player?
Yeah, but
just say for
the
example,
level that
and I
you
know
need
it's hard,
him to be, he's not that level.
That's it.
Let's just say that he didn't play for United and he was playing for Bournemouth or Brighton,
No.
did you still feel the
It's
same?
too inconsistent.
Yeah.
Also, I don't like him speaking out because he wasn't played in the final.
Yeah.
You seen him doing that as well to like
Yeah,
pre-season
yeah,
fans?
when they won
That's
tour.
horrible.
Yeah, I remember
Amarim did say you better pray a club buys you. So your attitude's going to be on the floor anyway.
Again, we'll have to
But
put him next to
your middle
Sancho.
fingers
I
up
just
at fans
just
who-
personally don't really like him.
No.
But
Yeah.
I actually think he's more talented than United fans give him credit for. But
Yeah,
that's as
I
far as I'll
wouldn't
go.
want
Yeah.
VM says, for the Sesko Gyökeres debate, Arteta wants Sesko because he wants an Olivier Giroud up front. Sometimes others can
does.
play off of him.
If Giroud were in his like prime, that's exactly what Arteta would want.
I hope that's because Giroud, we all know, is not the most prolific.
Actually, he
Unless
doesn't.
he's playing for France.
Yeah.
He is.
Do you know what? I really
France.
enjoyed used
For
to,
France,
I really
he's
used
one
to
of
like
the top
watching
scorers,
Olivier
mate.
Giroud.
How many
Giroud is-
titles did we win?
He's underrated, Giroud. He's underrated.
I think Mbappe's only just passed him for France. Literally,
Yeah.
like the
He was
last
the top
couple of
goal
months.
scorer.
Yeah, for France. But I'm saying when he was at Arsenal,
I know. I know.
you
It's
can
the wrong
talk to
system.
people-
It's
I
the wrong-
watched
wrong
him
system.
It's
many
the wrong
times.
system around him. That's what
Well,
it
you've
was.
got
No,
the
no,
2025
I
Giroud
watched
with
him.
Havertz, haven't you?
Sorry?
Sorry?
What?
No,
Listen, when Giroud was playing, no disrespects, I watched him miss chance after chance.
I'm with
after
you, Laurie.
chance.
There's real revisionism around the player. Like, oh, he was actually great for us. No, he was good, and he was probably better than we gave him credit
highlights
for.
real though.
His heart is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You'd think, wow, he must
listen-
have won 10 Ballon d'Ors.
That's enough for me to justify Sesko right now. So
Right, get him
let me not shit on a highlight, right? Yeah.
Get him in.
I hear it.
Right, we're going to wrap it up there. This has been transfer news on DR Sports. We've spoken about pretty much every big developing and breaking story within the world of the crazy world of transfers in football. Shout out once again to James B for coming back onto DR Sports. Are you here tomorrow as well?
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow.
I'll be here
5
tomorrow
PM.
with
Look
you
forward
as
to
well,
that.
my friend, live at 5 on DR. Big up to Laurie and Quams as well.
Thank
Always
you.
good having
Thank
their
you.
input on the show.
Cheers.
Smash that like button on the way out, and don't forget 7:30 tonight. In an hour and a half, we'll be back on DR Sports with that hate along. Right?
Hala Madrid. Hala Madrid.
No, finish the show. So can't have that. See you tomorrow. Take care. All the best.